Hi Rebels, how you doing? I am coming to you from my little Halloween cubbyhole here where I've set out all the decks I'm going to be using for the month of October. And today I wanted to share with you a deck review, and though it's not a Halloween deck or a Halloween themed deck, it is a deck that is hauntingly beautiful. It has stolen my heart, and it's one that my friends keep asking me to review. So I'm going to do that for you. Forgive me, because I think I'm just going to probably butcher the name of this deck. I don't intend to, I just don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced. Not the first time you're seeing this, I'm sure. Okay, so it is the, tell me how you would pronounce that, folks. Oculi Occultati Tarot? Yeah? Okay, so that's the deck that I'm going to review for you today. I do apologize that the lighting here seems to be a little bit dark today. I have no sun and no light. So I'm hoping the deck shows up as beautifully as it actually is. But as you can see, just from the start, first of all, the deck is huge. It's absolutely 100% ginormous. Look at how big the box is. All right, let me compare for you to a regular, okay? Just to give you some perspective. The Radiant Rider Waite from US Games, the Oculi Occultati. Okay, there we go. So it's ginormous. I want you to see the cards as well. Okay, it's really heavy, really heavy deck. This is the backs, which I think is absolutely stunning. It barely fits in my hand. I'm going to tell you that I believe this deck is unshuffleable. However, I don't want that to put you off, okay? Because I'm going to tell you lots of wonderful things about this deck. But it's very difficult to handle. If we compare it to, again, just the US Games Rider Waite. Oh my gosh, I can barely hold on. I can barely hold on to the Occultati. Let me show you. It's a big difference. It's a really big difference. And it's really heavy. Okay, here's the other thing we have that's always really important to me, and that is cardstock. The cardstock on this is, first of all, look at the images. They're gorgeous. Matte finish. Okay, so you can see the gorgeous matte finish. You can see the illustrative style of the images on the deck. I'm going to show you that it's huge. It's a little bit resilient, but the matte finish, the thick cardstock, let me show you the only way I've been able to shuffle. Long ways, kind of like this. And it's taken me a while. It's taken me a while of practice to get to this point. I have been reading with this for a week now. I absolutely love it. But it's not easy. The cards go flying everywhere. Great example. Cards go flying everywhere. They don't mix up really well. And then once I'm done shuffling, I put them all in order, taking one off the top, they stick together a little bit, can be challenging. Didn't I just show you this one? Okay, so clearly we are meant to have a Three of Cups moment with the Oculi Occultati Tarot. Okay, so let me tell you some of the things I adore about this deck and why I think you absolutely want to put this on your list for a deck to get. Not the least of which is it's limited edition. There are only, my understanding is only 900 decks are being produced. So let me show you my certificate of authentication. Okay, so we have a limited edition out of 900. Little information about the deck. The deck overall is Rider Waite based, so if you are a Rider Waite reader, you're not going to have any problem reading the images here. If you are an intuitive reader, you're going to find that unlike some decks where you have lots of symbolism and lots of storytelling available to you, I think this deck is less so, and I'm going to show you that when I do a reading in just a moment. It's still very easy to interpret. It's still very, the images are palpable. They just kind of draw you in. And at first glance, I thought, boy, these are so grotesque and unusual to look at, and yet I can't put them down. I can't leave them behind me. And the readings have been very poignant, accurate, immediate. They're in my face. So I haven't found that I needed a whole lot of time to decipher the imagery, partially I think because it aligns so beautifully to Rider Waite that you won't have difficulty if that's the system that you're used to using. Okay, so let me show you the majors. This is one thing I love about the deck. The majors are all done in this kind of shadowy, gorgeous black and white, black and gray, however you want to call that. Then the suits are in different colors. Okay, we've got the pentacles in green. We've got the wands actually in yellow. And I've got to tell you, the quartz in this deck are magnificent. They say so much without saying very much. It's a close-up interpretation, but they're really, really powerful. Then we have the swords, probably my favorite deck in the suit of swords ever. Okay, the swords are in pink, and I love that. I love the dual-sided nature of the swords anyway, that they can be so challenging and so much conflict and so sharp, and yet the soft, loving color of pink to remind us of how important it is to see both sides of the swords. It's got to be one of my favorite Three of Swords images ever. Oh, it's just, do you see how it speaks to you? It's very, very similar to Rider Waite. We've got the three swords coming through the heart, but then we have this beautiful character who's kind of protecting himself. And of course, we still have the thunderstorm in the background. But then almost these pink splashes on the bottom look to me like a renewal, almost like through the pain comes this beautiful renewal and blossom of something completely new, kind of like breaking through the seed of a flower to come up to something new. And then, of course, we have the cups that are in blue, and they're all kind of mermaid creatures for the most part. The characters in them are mermaid creatures. It looks to me like the swords, maybe a fae creature. It's got wings for sure. Pentacles. Oh gosh, I gotta tell you, I don't know. They look a little trollish to me. They all have enormously large heads and feet. And then the wands, let me see if I can find another example of wands for you really quickly. They look very physically fit, which I think is perfect for the suit of wands, okay? They're just super physical beings. So you can see the nod, right, to the Rider Waite, the four wands, and the little awning on the top, and two people kind of in celebration. So again, I don't think you'll have difficulty reading it. But again, there's not a whole lot else to draw upon, but I'm going to show you when I do my reading how there are new things to draw upon with this particular deck. And I have to show you one of my all-time favorite cards. Oh my gosh, you guys, when I said the quartz were unreal in this deck, I'm not kidding you. The quartz are unreal in this deck. So fair warning, what I'm going to show you is a partially naked woman and severed head. So if that's not for you, cut it, okay? This is my favorite Queen of Swords ever. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I see a Queen of Swords, and especially when I see it reversed, I think, oh, so mean, off with your head, okay? That's just a figure of speech, but I want to show you how it is depicted in this particular deck in the pink. Can you see that? Can you see how stunningly beautiful she is? She's everything. Like, I could just sit and stare at her all day long, and I've got to tell you, in this particular deck, in the quartz, I want to get lost in them. I want to live in their world. They are so expressive. They have so much going on. The movement, their clothing. Look at the sword. Look at the energy around the sword. I mean, it's just like unlike anything else we've ever seen. Look at how daintily she dangles the head she's just chopped off here. It just speaks volumes to me. If you're at all interested, and like I said, hauntingly beautiful. It's a little bit in our face. It's a little bit up front, but I think absolutely stunning. Okay, there are other quartz as well that I love, but this one in particular, I can't say no to. And if you hold on one second, I'm going to go through the deck and I'm going to show you a couple of my favorite majors. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. It took me a moment because they're really sticky. They kind of all stick together. But what I really wanted to show you, and this one sold the deck for me actually the first time I saw it, is the Moon card. There's something gentle about it, contemplative about it. It just, the story of the two different dogs, like the dark and the light. I think it's really depicted so beautifully as the moon scene for this particular deck. And the moment I saw it, I thought, oh, yeah, that moon card alone is worth it for me to join in the deck. And that's kind of feeling, the overall feeling of the deck, the illustrative, wispy nature of it. It's still very haunting, very dark, overall dark. And by that I mean, you know, the colors. You can see the colors are very dark, right? And yet there's a softness to it, a wistfulness to it that invites you to come in and play with the shadow side, which is unlike a lot of the decks we have out there. It's just not overt. And here, look at the wistful look on her face, the Empress. I love this one. I love the expressions on their faces, and I love the wistful nature of the line work in this deck. It's sublime. It really is sublime. Oh, I love this one too. The Justice card. Something about her. She has been around. She has seen a lot. She has observed a lot. She's quiet, and yet she's just. It's I don't know, that the scales and the sword just stand out, and even her dress, I don't know, it's just so structured and yet flowing at the same time. I think it speaks beautifully to the balance that we find when we're talking about the Justice card. Let me show you a few of my other favorites. The aces are all stunning, but the Ace of Cups I think is absolutely amazing. And let me show you what I was talking about with the quartz, two other examples. The Knight of Cups. Look at everything going on here. And again, we have that kind of this really strong creature. We don't usually see something so strong with the cups, right? The cups are a little bit more ethereal and soft. And he's got the soft, beautiful nature on his face and the relaxed armor on his arm to help you kind of, in terms of interpreting things, how different that can be. So how intuitively beautiful this can be. And the strength of the beast on which he rests, I think, says something completely new about the Knight of Cups when it shows up in a reading in comparison to some of the other decks that we've seen, and certainly in comparison to the Rider Waite, okay? And then remember how I said the whole dichotomy of the swords is depicted so beautifully in this deck? This is the Knight of Swords. Oh, I love it. Again, the pink. Now we still have that forward aggressive movement with the knight, and we've got the sword, which is very, very strong, on a dolphin. The ultimate communicators, the compassionate, loving nature of a dolphin. So I just think that in its darkness, in its line work, in its shadowy essence as a deck, it's constantly bringing forth this very loving, very compassionate energy for us. Okay, so that's some of the things I love about this deck. I'm going to show you a spread so you can see how it all works together, but you can kind of see, here I'll show you, even though the images are rather stark in the line work and they don't have a whole lot of color, it's the black and white and then the pop of color. Overall, when you do a reading, the nice thing is you get to see overall if you've got a predominance of any one particular color, energy, if it's all majors. And it's interesting because all the majors then, when you get a lot of them, look very shadowy in a reading, okay? So next I'm going to do a reading for you and show you how this deck reads for me and how it might read for you, what it has come to offer us. And I hope you'll stay with us. I'll see you on the other side. Hi everybody, welcome back. Here I'm going to do the reading portion of my review of the Oculi Occultati Tarot. Okay, so what I did was I just kind of asked from a general standpoint, what is consciously influencing you as the audience and what is subconsciously influencing you as the audience. So I just kind of wanted to know what was going on. And here's where the Occultati really shines, I think, in that it really speaks so poignantly and clearly. On your mind, or what's going on, we have the Two of Swords. First of all, I think it's really clear. It's a really clear interpretation of the Rider Waite Smith, but it seems like everybody has really difficult decision-making going on right now. There are, and I think many of us are feeling this, there are two distinct sides to everything right now in the world, and neither is necessarily better than the other, worse than the other, or appealing in terms of choosing one. I don't want to choose this side and I don't want to choose this side, but you know what? At some point, there has to be a choice that is made. So there's this desire to close our eyes, to not pay attention and just say, I know those things are there, but I don't want to choose sides and I don't want to be in a battle, so I'm just going to hold my swords back. With this kind of hopeful moon in the distance here and kind of a feeling of going within right now. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. You know that that is the case because you felt it. You have felt the energies of the earth. Subconsciously, what you might not realize is we get this gorgeous major arcana. This is the Judgment card. We are entering a period of renewal, of new life, and of endings. So many of us are being called to do something much differently now than what we were doing before. And I think if you look at these two cards together, let me put them this way, you can see how the call is going out to the masses and saying subconsciously, hear me, please hear me. We are about to rise up. We are about to experience an ascension, an awakening, something different on earth. So consciously it feels uncomfortable to you. Subconsciously though, you know you're being called to do something more. You know you're being called to come out of this slumber. So you've got those two things going on for you right now. Next, what I like to do is, because I hate to leave you without some advice about what to do, so I'm going to pull a few more cards. And you can see, first of all, these cards are ginormous, so I can't do a whole lot of them in a spread. And again, a little bit difficult to shuffle. I just want to ask, best course of action going forward, and maybe what to avoid in order to answer your call and live your most desirable life. Look at how difficult they are to shuffle, okay? But I still love them. I still love them. Here we go. Okay, so this is a really good message. Once again, from this tarot deck, you can see instantly 1 swords, 1 pentacle, and we've got the cups. Okay, so you can see the images, the daily life along the top, and the major arcana that is subconsciously our spiritual lessons that are going on for us right now. Whether or not we realize it, we're probably feeling that draw anyway. So here's some advice on what to do to help you achieve your desires. Know that you have everything you need to be independent, free-flowing, and have more than enough to give back to others. You are complete exactly as you are. So there really isn't a need for you to choose a side. There is just a need for you to be complete and whole in and of yourself. Look at the effort it has taken you to be able to command this falcon. That is no easy task. Okay, so I think this is also a call for you to command your inner being, to take command over all of your resources, to be complete within the resources you already have available to you. And it's okay to recognize that the process is maybe going to be a little bit slower than what you would like to have. But you know, as you're doing self-awareness work, it sometimes takes a lifetime to get to an instant aha moment. Okay, so that's kind of where you are in a cycle of self-completion. This is the advice for you. Go ahead and do whatever it takes for you to feel complete and whole. Here's what we want to avoid. And we've actually got the King of Cups here. Again, I think the quartz in this deck are absolutely remarkable, and I love, are you able to see the closed eyes and those phenomenal eyelashes? So I think this is about avoiding, since I didn't choose to use reversals with this particular deck at this time, it's hard enough to shuffle as is. I think we're talking about avoiding getting overly emotional about the situation and the energies on Earth. Okay, so there's no need for us to kind of be like this, okay? We don't need to pour out all of our emotions and be, what's a good word that I'm looking for here? Almost somewhat overly hypersensitive and out of control with our emotions, to the point where our emotions are controlling us, and it's not our thoughts and it's not our resources, okay? So we're feeling stuck in the middle, having difficulty making a choice. The best thing for us to do right now is to be the master of our own world. Let's not get involved in this battle. Let's rise above the battle, and let's not be emotional about it. Okay, so we want to be a little bit more practical, a little bit more grounded. Let's use some common sense, and let's use the resources we have to make ourselves whole. Let's not get overly emotional about this. Interestingly, I think all of their eyes are closed. All of their eyes are closed. So to me, that is a real message about going within. And I do think that this deck speaks quite clearly about going within. And then, of course, in the subconscious level, we are hearing a new calling. We're being called to do something new to help elevate the energies of the earth. I know it's been a really chaotic time, guys. If you haven't been feeling it, I certainly have been feeling it. If I turn this over and you can see at the bottom of my deck, there is a lot of bullying going on, okay? There's a lot of debate. There's a lot of uncertainty. There are some who feel very victorious in their thoughts and their ideas. There are others who feel that they're being taken advantage of. And then there are some of us who want to just kind of rise above the chaos and not have anything else to do with it at this point. But this is a really strong energy for everything that's going on here. I would say that this deck speaks beautifully to the soul level energies we have going on. So far, my readings with it have definitely been at a soul level. I think they're instantly obvious in terms of the messaging that they have. Like I said, it's not as the very traditional Rider Waite. We can see the nod to the Five of Swords here. You don't need the numbers. The numbers aren't printed on here, but you don't need them. But it really does ask us to go deep. It is not afraid. It is not afraid to bring the shadows to you. So be aware of that if you choose to get this deck and to have it in your life. This is not going to be a deck that just sits back. This is a deck that's going to point out exactly what's going on for you. It's not afraid to say, hey, come take a look at what's on the shadow side. Things look a little sketchy right now, don't they? And they're going to tell you all about that. And yet I think because of the imagery and because of the ethereal nature of so much of it, I mean, look at the wings for the air suit. I think it really houses difficult messages in a very kind energy for us, okay? So that's my advice for all of you right now, in addition to the fact that I think, above all, consider getting this deck. I mean, it's limited edition. It's not going to be out there for very long. Oculi Occultati. Aside from the name being really difficult to say, aside from it being ginormous and difficult to shuffle, this is a magnificent deck. All right? Thank you guys so much. I want to wish you all the best as you go forward and you listen, as your calling helps to awaken all of us to the energies in the earth. Please, please, please take care of yourselves practically, okay? Let's not get over emotional. Let's be real grounded about this and rise above and help one another out. All right? Thanks, guys.